Hey guys, Andy here. So I have with me today the Xperia XZ3, which Sony have very kindly sent to me. Thank you very much, Sony. Now, whoops. Now, regular viewers might remember it was only about 4 months ago that I reviewed the Xperia XZ2. And I wasn't massively blown away with it, if I'm very honest, which is why I'm grateful Sony sent me the XZ3. They cleared their mind. As regular viewers will know, I will give it to you honestly, hopefully. So even when someone's giving me something for free, if I don't think it's up to scratch, I'm going to say that. I seem to remember that I liked the build quality of it. I liked the design. It was blazing powerful. I think it was the first Snapdragon 845 that I used, actually. But the camera wasn't as good as I'd hoped. I suppose, that Sony have a reputation for great cameras, and it wasn't that great. And it felt a bit bulky as well, if I'm honest. That was one of the big sort of surprises for me in some ways. So I'm quite keen to see what changes have been made in the XZ3. And to be honest, it's the first time, so I have just looked up on GSM Arena and compared the two to see what the differences are. And it looks like the screen is a big difference, but we'll get on with it. So it's not a retail box, so it'll be a little bit different to when I've bought a device. This is a review unit. Oh, it's been left on, in fact, which is interesting. There we go. So all the sticky bits for the screen covering, they're just in there, all right. Oh, and it looks like, so this might not be, let's come back up. In fact, there's nothing. All right, so as far as unboxings go, there's not really much to unbox. So we've got some instructions, and that's it. Sony, I haven't stolen it all. You haven't sent it to me. So that's, I mean, literally, it is just the phone. Okay, I mean, that's all right. I don't need the other bits. To be honest, when I buy a phone, all that other stuff generally just sits in the box because I've got chargers, I've got Bluetooth headphones. I don't need the stuff. I've got SIM eject tools. So what we'll do though, first I'm going to read through some of the specs. What's the headlines? The headlines are, so it's the Snapdragon 845 still, with, it says here 6 gig of RAM, but I will need to check specifically on this version really how much RAM it's got, because I think there is a 4 gig of RAM version as well. 19 megapixel camera. It says 2060p, but then in the specs on GSM Arena, oh no, yeah, there it is. So yeah, it does 4K at 30 frames per second. It does 1080p at 60 frames per second. In fact, it does 1080p at 960 frames per second. I'm just trying to rack my brain to think if the others that do super slow-mo will do it in 1080p. I have a feeling that they only do them in 720p. I'll check. I didn't even think to. I don't know to look that one up. I'm sure there's somebody that's already put in the comments down below if I'm right or wrong. That's pretty good. 1080p. I'm sure that's a bit of a first. But what are the other headlines? So it's a 6-inch screen, and we can see already there's reasonable bezels on that. So it's quite big at the top and at the bottom. The screen to body ratio is 80.5%. It's a 2880 by 1440. So that's an 18:9 ratio, which is almost a little old-fashioned now. They're sort of not quite as wide letterbox. And that is 537 pixels per inch. That's a very high density. I might argue that's higher than you need, but there you go. And it's also definitely worth noting that there's a POLED capacitive touchscreen. So the ZX2 almost certainly was, well, in the specs that I was just looking at, was an IPS LCD. So now we're onto an OLED screen on the XZ3, which actually for me is quite a big difference, because that hopefully means we've got an always-on display. And I can only guess if the other one was a LCD that it didn't. Again, I'll look. My unboxings are a little bit kind of randomly finding my way through things. If you've not seen them before, I'd warn you now, that's what it is. So again, I've not fully researched everything because I'm kind of coming in slightly blind to an extent, and the fun is just kind of finding out about the phone as we go. When I do the review, I promise I'll have looked things up properly. So if it's already annoying you, just wait for the review. It'll only be a week or so. Or depending when you're watching this, it might already be done. What else do you need to know? Octa-core processor. Adreno 630 GPU. It has a micro SD card slot. I've mentioned the 19 megapixel. Did I say it was 19 megapixel front rear facing camera? The front facing is 13 megapixel. f1.9, that's pretty good. 23 mil as well, that's quite wide. So the rear facing camera is f2.0, 25 mil, which is a couple mil wider than normal, which to me is a good thing. And the front facing camera is f1.9, 23 mil, which again is definitely, most of them are 26, 27, 28 mil, which refers to the focal length, not the width, to that one person that was arguing with me about that, not the diameter. And the shorter the millimeter, the wider angle you get. I don't think there's too much else. The battery, I suppose. Non-removable Li-ion 3300 mAh battery. Worries me a little bit with such a high resolution screen to only be 3300. I can't think of any other screens that big with a small battery like that. So we'll see how that goes. So probably, so I'm going to get logged into Wi-Fi. I would assume it's going to find the 5 gigahertz as well as the 2 gigahertz. There it is. One good device. Normally, clean your finger and the sensor. Let's have a quick look at the sensor. It looks fine. Oh, it's right in the middle. I remember this from the XZ2. It's actually square in the middle of the back of the device. Look, well, pretty much. Which just feels, yeah, I'm going to keep reaching for that camera. The camera is where most fingerprint sensors are. That'll do for now. Just the one. So the actual design of the phone, it feels quite slippy at this point. Oh, we're doing that, are we? Okay. I probably should have muted the hub behind me. I think sometimes I'm not talking to you. Yeah. Oh, can we fingerprint? Again, I went too high. We're not worried about. Not now. Skip it. Oh, wow. So I mean, I guess that's good that you get the choice of all these other apps. For now, I'm going to say okay. Control info on the wallet. Let's not worry about that for now. So the actual design, it doesn't feel as bulky. I don't know. Is the width different, perhaps? Let me have a quick look. Oh no, it's like a millimeter wider. Oh, it is. What is that? 1.2 millimeters thinner. So this is still 9.9 millimeters, which is not, you know, you get, I forget which I used recently, it was only 7.8 millimeters thin, thick, deep. So 9.9 is still quite a lot, but the XZ2 was quite a rounded back, and it did just, to me, just felt really bulky. And the XZ3 does not feel really bulky. It actually feels really good. It feels a little slippy, which concerns me a little bit. As far as the actual body, let's just turn it off for a second. So obviously we've got a volume rocker at the top there. The power button halfway down, so there's quite, well, there's the always on screen already, look. That's a good start. The power button already halfway down, so it's almost like they want you to use the device holding it very low down, because then your fingerprint reaches and your power button reaches. A bit further down, I assume, is a camera button. In fact, I think there's even, you see that, there's a little icon of a camera next to it. Probably a little bit unnecessary. USB Type-C with kind of a funny cut-in in the back. I quite like that, actually. That looks quite nice. On the other side, nothing at all. Oh, there's not a speaker grid, actually, I just realised. What's going on there, then? Well, that's maybe, that could well be a speaker along the bottom. Fine. And I assume we've got it at the top there. Fine. On the top, that's the SIM tray, which doesn't use the SIM eject tool. I quite like. Oh, we're restarting apparently because I pulled that out. So SIM and micro SD card slot there. Very good. I mean, I guess why don't more manufacturers do that? Is it because actually it's too easy for someone just to, like, I don't know, take your SIM card out? They don't need the tool. They could literally, someone picks your phone up, they nick your SIM card off. They go, I guess that's not a good. I mean, how often do you need to swap SIMs around? If you're me, most weeks, but most people don't swap their SIM around much, do they? So I guess the eject tool is probably the right idea. This is not going to work without the pin number now. So, I do remember those. Yeah, got the kind of movement, so they don't move now they're out there, but as we turn off, oh, that's had my finger on the camera wondering why it didn't open. So I like the kind of animated wallpaper. Do we have YouTube installed? Preferably to avoid any sort of trouble with. There we go. Let's have a look. I mean, mine is not good. Oh yeah, so there's Sony's dynamic vibration system. It tries to vibrate the phone along with sort of different bits of music and whatever. I seem to remember I turned it off on the XZ2, so I'm not overly viewing full screen. Pinch to film. Okay, so that screen, it does look very good. The subject matter, not so good. Oh, I'm wearing the same t-shirt, like embarrassing. So I think we'll need to find, oopsie. Sorry, I have to be quite careful how much of the video I'm actually showing, because it's when I show the video that YouTube get upset. It's not that I'm playing the music, it's that I'm showing the video. That sounds pretty good. I mean, obviously, again, for the review, I'll have the actual decibel meter out and we'll check exactly how loud it's getting. Smart launch. You can, yeah, okay. Lift device, oh, the landscape. All right, that's actually sounds like quite a good idea. Because what else are you doing if you're lifting your device up to double tap on the side? Okay. So, in fact, I want to try that first. So, we're going to turn the phone off, look. Was it telling me something? Anyway, right. So, I'm going to lift it up in. It worked. That is actually. Why did I not tell it to not tell me again? Oh, touch inside the circle to launch camera. Alright, and then it's just so I've touched in the circle and it's launched the actual camera. So that is quite cool. Wait, did I do that? Okay, I'm not quite sure what happened there. So, there's Deadpool. We're going to take his pick. So not blazing quick. It had to kind of, it did a little bounce on the focus and then let's just try once more. I've seen quicker, but take a look at the results. Oh, we're not. All right. It certainly looks good. Again, this is just a quick snap. I've just dropped back in real quick because I've had the chance to run the Geekbench 4, and it scored 8,920, which is quite interesting because the XZ2 had almost identical specs. Well, I mean, they were identical specs. Same CPU, same chipset, same GPU, same RAM, but the 3 scored like 600 more. I don't really know why that would be. Anyway, I just thought it quite interesting, so thought I'd let you know. I was trying to clarify the amount of RAM. I think it's 4 gig because actually on GSM Arena it says it's only Taiwan that has the 6 gig version. I don't know why they would do that, but it is. So there we go. It's a quick first look around the device. I think initial impressions, I'm liking it a lot more than the XZ2, which, as I say, just felt bulky in my hand. This does not. This feels really nice in the hand. Seems like a nice device. Looks like a nice phone. Screen looks really good so far. Speakers sound pretty good. Feels nice and slick. So obviously, as I've said, watch out for the review. Comes the next week or so. This was just a quick first look around the device to see what it's all about. Do subscribe if you haven't already. I'll get some sort of sample video footage up and bits and pieces like that. Leave me any questions you might have in the comments down below, and I'll try and answer those in the review. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon. Well done, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you might want to click the little fellow that should hopefully appear about here to subscribe. You may also want to check out some of my other videos, which are going to appear somewhere there. Also, come and have a look at my website, androidandy.uk. There is also a forum. Come and say hello on the forum. If you've got any questions about things or request me to review things or anything else, just come and have a chat on the forum.